and welcome to the Speak USA podcast. Judge Huff, it's been a little bit of a journey,
Yes, it
but
has.
here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, we've made it. I am so glad that we've found our time for our
You
conversation.
made it happen.
Thank you for joining. This is the Speak USA podcast. I'm your host, Cliff Zentgraf. Let's learn about our democracy and the actions that we can take to protect it and make it stronger. Judge Huff, who are you?
Well, I mean, I'm a little bit about me. I am Judge Yolanda Huff. I preside over County Court 12. That is a criminal misdemeanor bench. And I also preside over the mental health court for Bexar County.
All right. And there's much more. Let's learn a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up?
Well,
how did you get to San Antonio?
So I was born in Texas, but my dad was military. He was Army. We were stationed at Fort Hood. And so after he got out of the military, we moved back to North Carolina. I was raised there until my teenage years. It was really no industry. It was a very rural part of North Carolina. So my parents moved the family back to Texas, to Austin. And if anybody remembers Austin during the 80s, a lot of technology was going on. IBM was big, Motorola was big. So my parents got jobs immediately at Motorola. And I went on to graduate high school at Reagan High. I went to UT Austin there undergrad. And what got me to San Antonio was law school. So after I graduated at UT Austin, I did work 3 years for Lieutenant Governor. I worked Bill Hobby's last year in office and Bob Bullock's first 2 years in office. But my plan was always to go to law school. So I did move to San Antonio and started law school in 93.
In 93, and then you raised your family here.
Yeah, I raised my family here. I graduated law school in 96. Passed the bar in 97, and then I never worked for anyone. I hung out my own shingle. I officed with a lot of attorneys, but I was a solo practitioner for 22 years before I decided to run for judge in 2018. I won, and then I was sworn in on January 1 of 2019. And since I've been on the bench now for 8 years, I'm up for my third term as judge.
You're a candidate right now.
Yeah, I'm a candidate right now.
Yeah.
Campaigning for my third term as
Yeah,
judge.
maybe we can talk about that a little bit as we go. What is something cool you've done lately?
Well, I was telling you about last year on February 1, the first day of Black History Month. I've always wanted to do this because people don't know this, but in Bexar County, like the whole courthouse complex, there are about 65 judges, give or take. And I'm talking about judges from the top all the way to the bottom. We have 7 justices of the Fourth Court of Appeals. We have 14 district court judges. Then we have 10 district court criminal courts. And then we have 15 county courts. And we have probate courts, child support courts, CPS courts, a lot of associate and magistrate judges. So all around about 65 judges.
And there will be a test later.
Yeah, there will be a test later. Yeah, hopefully take note. And so, but of those, there are only 3 elected Black judges, me, Judge Boyd, and Judge Shaw. And so I wanted to do a history on the Black judges in Bexar County and San Antonio. So I had a come meet the Black judges of Bexar County and San Antonio. It was at the Whitty Museum. It was a great hit. KSAT did a news article on it. I made a booklet about it, and most of the judges came back.
Can I see that?
Yes,
see
most
that
of the judges
book?
came.
Yeah.
Some judges even flew in from other states, and it was a great success. It was a great success, and people loved it. They actually wanted me to do it again this year. Like, it was a lot of work putting on, but it was something I wanted to do just to showcase all the judges that we'd had, that African American judges, because it was Black History Month, and people keep asking me for this booklet, so I made 200 more, and everywhere I go, I give it out. It's just a testament, or a narrative, if you will, of the history of the Black judges in Bexar County and San Antonio.
No, that's spectacular.
Yes.
I work on, in my day job, I work on technology,
Yes.
history, right? And just the value of that. And you remind me, there's so many different kinds of history. When my mom passed away about 3 years ago, she lived in the same home for 57 years. Oh, wow. It took me a year and a half to clean out her house, and it took 3,300 pictures along the way. All the things that I found, which that could be its own topic. I won't go too much more deeply in that.
I love history. But I am a history buff.
I relate to this desire to capture.
It's important.
What's come before.
It really is important, because what we don't capture and remember, it gets lost. and then our children won't ever know. And to me, history is so important that way.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed, and boy, we're going to talk some about our country's history.
Yes,
history,
yes. True history, not made believe history.
Yeah, amen to that. So, you didn't start here. You grew up in North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about growing up, and then I remember there's a teacher that had if I remember, a teacher had a particular impact on you.
So in North Carolina, we were extremely poor. Like I say to myself, in my mind, I call it like my parents were like the working poor, a young couple, no industry in North Carolina. They were never going to get ahead, right? And so, but knowledge and books and learning, like I remember to this day that at this little school in North Carolina, in this little rural area, it's called Arapahoe Elementary School. And it just had one class from kindergarten to 8th grade, one class per class. And Miss Peacock was our English teacher. Oh my God.
What a great name.
She is still alive. She's like 97 years old. Still, 2 years ago, I went back to North Carolina for a class reunion. My uncle took me to see her, and I thanked her. Her foundation that she gave me in English and learning was just, I don't think my kids got such a good education in that one room school class. Like she taught 7th and 8th grade. And oh my Lord, to this day, I think she helped me get through research and writing in law school. I credit her for that, for my 7th grade English. And it was just a wonderful experience that even though it was so rural and was so poor, that I think I just got an excellent education. I know I got the foundation of my learning and understanding English. It was just excellent. It prepared me to go to, for college and law school. I was prepared for law school and college, going through that school that when they concentrated on. I don't think they do that these days. I don't know, but I felt like I got more than what my kids would get because Miss Peacock did it in such a way that we didn't know we thought we were having fun. She would make us go to the board and we would congregate sentences. We thought that was just a game. We didn't know that we were learning dissecting sentences. My kids don't even do that. They don't even dissect sentences anymore. What? I could do that with my eyes closed, right? Anyway, that woman, oh man, I'm so glad I got to see her. Before she passed away. I mean, she's 97. I actually thought she was dead. I was telling my uncle about it. He said, no, she's still living. So is her husband. They were both teachers. You want to go? She's right down the street.
If she's listening to this, you're going to get a call from her saying, what are you talking about?
And every time I want to send a text, I want to do it. Like I want to say you, write the word you instead of Y-O-U. I think of Miss Peacock and I can't do it. I got to write the word Y-O-U. She was such a proper English teacher.
Let me guess. You still call her Miss Peacock.
I do still call her Miss Peacock.
Yeah, you're a judge now, and you're.
I know she's gonna always be Miss Peacock to me. Yeah. But we were like my family was so poor. I mean, I had never met a judge. I had never met a lawyer, and what it would have meant to me to get a visit from a judge or a lawyer on career day. And that's why when schools ask me now, high school, elementary, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna figure out a way to fit it into my schedule because if these kids seeing me could change the trajectory of someone's life, I want to do that. Like it could mean something to someone that they see me, a black woman, a black judge, woman, that means something to any child out there. I want to be that for them. Now, I don't even know where I wanted to be a lawyer at 11. I just knew that lawyers help people, right? And that desire was there. I wasn't a great athlete, but I was smart. I was in advanced classes. My smart and it's going to be the thing that got me out of the cycle of poverty from my family. And so when we moved back to Texas, and I'm here in Austin, UT Austin, immediately I got accepted to, I think I may even got an early admission to UT Austin, but here I am. Like I'm at UT, I did well there, graduated. I majored in government. I did a minor in African American studies, and
how did your parents get from North Carolina back here? Well, were both parents in the military?
No, just my dad.
Your dad.
They just made the decision that it was just, they were never going to advance. It was just going to be paycheck to paycheck forever.
So they made a call.
They made a call, like, we're going to move the whole family back to Texas, to Austin, Texas. And that's what they did. We just moved back. I was finishing up my 10th grade, and my sister was finishing up the 9th grade. And then we started the next year. I was in 11th grade and she was in 10th grade. And that was just the call they made. And it was good. It was probably one of the best decision they could have made for the family. Because, it was, no one still lives in that little town that I went to school with.
So I'm curious, this isn't exactly like the topic of this podcast, but your dad was in the military and then moved to Austin, and he's the one that went to work for Motorola?
Yeah, both of them
They
did.
both went to work.
Both of them got jobs immediately at Motorola.
What did they do, if I may ask?
They
What
worked.
did they do
I
at
remember
Motorola?
my mom would show, because I actually got an intern job there when I was at my first year at UTL.
Oh.
They worked at they did circuit boards and stuff like that. I got an intern because I was a college kid. I still remember the engineer, Ginger Hansel. If you're out there, she was the engineer, and she like mentored me that summer at Motorola. Right, I was like 17 years old. Yeah, Austin was a great call for them to bring the family back to Texas.
Back to Texas, and there's a whole other topic that we won't cover, but the economic opportunity that is there. But how do we make sure that today we are still giving people an education, no matter their background, no matter where they start? Because to me, this is a success story, right? They moved, they got a job at Motorola. Now here you are, you're a judge. I have this great story about my barber. Boy, you talk about being off topic. I'm way off topic now. But about my barber. He's the only barber I've ever had in my life. Literally. Decades, okay? He wished he could have been an architect. His kids and grandkids are doctors and lawyers. It's just amazing.
Sometimes I'll think, one wrong turn, but for the grace of God that I ended up, getting a chance to go to college and go to law school, and now I'm a judge. One wrong move, one wrong decision by my parents, that would maybe, I wouldn't be a lawyer, I wouldn't be a judge now. Indeed. I mean, that's just life, right? You're going to follow a path, but people make certain decisions, and the road, the different path you choose in life. Yeah, I mean, I'm here, but it was by the grace of God that I'm here.
Well, some people have an easier time getting a second chance than other people.
It is true.
Have a second chance, and that we're going to connect that in a minute as we talk about the work that you're doing outside of your what do I call it? Your main court, your primary, primary court.
Yeah.
So let's shift to that for a minute. So you are the presiding judge of County Court 12.
Yes.
We're going to talk about your mental health court in a moment, but County Court 12, number one, what is that exactly?
Well,
number two, take us through a day, like not just the grand picture, but like a day in the life. What's that?
Okay, so there are 15 county courts in Bexar County. Now, that number that's not a district. It just means that 12 was the 12th county court created in Bexar County, because according to the census, every time the population of Bexar, say for example, we grow in the 10-year census 200,000 more people, then it'll be time for the commissioners and the Bexar County judges and the commissioners court to create another county court. So we're up to 15, and it's talk that we may get a 16 and even a 17.
So this is how many courts are needed to handle the caseload.
Yeah, exactly, that we need for the population of Bexar County, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? And so my court, number 12, is created, the 12th court, and along in that court is a program called the mental health court. Now, I have jury trials. I have pretrial conference dockets every single day. I am very strict on getting to court exactly at 9 o'clock. And I'm really trying to create continuity with the defense attorneys and the defendants, because a lot of them, what got them in the judiciary is chaotic lives. And so they'll show up to court 9:15, quarter to 10. And so every single morning, Cliff, you're going to hear me say, it is 9 o'clock straight up. Let's get court started. Let's get started every day. And the ones that come in late, my bailiff puts them in a jury box. Now, they're not in handcuffs or anything like that, but they're going to get an admonishment from me. So I'll go on, I'll finish calling the docket, and then in a little while, I'll bring all of those over, and I'll explain to them about the importance of being in time. You have to get your kids to school on time. You have to be to work on time. You have to be doctor's appointments on. Why would you not be on time for court? This is the judiciary. You're in the judiciary. And I'm teaching them a little life lesson just in that little moment. They're just probably first meeting me. Oh, sorry, Judge, sorry. You know, I'll say some little jokes with them. Like, you know, they're not in trouble. But I want them to understand that it's all about educating yourself and understanding. You're walking into a situation you've never been in before. Why would you be late? Be on time for this. It was a young man the other day that did that. He didn't even show up. I told his attorney he has till noon to get here. And when he came in, he was very apologetic. He didn't know who his attorney was. He didn't know what court he was. He hadn't known me. I said, sir, you literally have the greatest computer ever invented in the palm of your hands, a cell phone. You can do all kind of, I didn't have that. I didn't do the encyclopedias at the library. You can look up anything. Google me. Don't ever walk into a situation that you are not prepared for. Who is this judge in County Court 12? What did she do? You can do that. You can learn so much. I had this little chat with him, and then he seemed distracted. I was just noticing. I asked him, would you like your case to be transferred to the mental health court? And he was very young. He said, I would, Judge. And I said, let me do the referral. I said, they're going to contact your attorney. And he didn't resist. He said, I would love to go into the mental health court. And I said, it's a special program. If whatever's going on in your life, chaotic, mental health issues, substance abuse issues, we can help you. And he was like readily accepted. I did the referral. I hope his attorney answers the call and he gets, eligible for the program, gets into the program. But that's right off the bat in the day of the life that I'm teaching them something, continuity, the defense attorneys too, because they know that Judge Huff is going to start exactly at 9:00 every morning. And I told them, I'm doing this because I am respecting your time. I think that time is important. I don't want to disrespect your time. I'm going to start on exactly at 9 because I've given you an order, a reset date that says your court date is on this day at this time. And I'm definitely going to honor that to you.
You're respecting their time. They
yes.
need to respect
And I asked you respect
yours.
my time. This is a two-way street.
It's got to go both ways.
Yes.
What kind of cases? Is it general or is there specific kinds
only
of
criminal,
cases?
Like we have prostitution, drug cases, many DWIs, theft cases, assault cases, family violence cases, all kind of many any kind of misdemeanor you could think of, except for the family domestic violence, because we do have 2 dedicated courts that do nothing but the family. But I get a lot of assaults, like bar fights, college fights, street fights. I get a lot of assaults in my court. All these things, and a lot of sexual assault cases, like indecency, sexual, a lot of those kind of cases. And even though they're misdemeanors, there's still a lot by the Texas codes, a lot of sexual assault cases. Those are the kind of cases I deal with. Now, every morning, pretrial conference docket from 9 to 12. Then usually in the afternoons, I have a 1:30. Either have a 1:30 jury trial docket or a 1:30 mental health docket in the afternoon. And so I'm busy, the most busiest on Mondays and Tuesdays because I'm literally on that bench from 9 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I may take a little break in the middle of the day and go walk down the Riverwalk. I try to get my miles in, and then I'm right back in for the afternoon docket to continue all the way to 5 o'clock. And anyone is welcome to come down there and observe me. Courts by law are open to the public.
I was about to say that. You made that point.
Yes. By law, we cannot. There was a judge. It was a big case in Bexar County. Many people wanted to. It was a murder case. Many people were trying to get the family, curious people. Well, the judge made a decision to close the door. She had this bailiff close the door. Well, the case went on. The person was convicted. But then the defense attorney appealed on the fact that the judge had closed the doors to the public.
Wow. And
the case got overturned because the Fourth Court of Appeal says you can never do that. Even though I thought the judge made the right call because it was a fire hazard. The court's packed, but apparently you can't do it. So the case came back, and the person got another trial by jury, found guilty again, right? But that is to the extent that how courts have to absolutely be open to the public.
Well, so something about transparency.
And
shall we talk about the transparency in our federal government?
Yeah,
right now?
Transparency is
there's a lot. There's
not a lot going on at all.
Severe lack. So let me see if I can recap that. You're open court at 9. I think you said 9:30 to 12 or 9?
No, 9 o'clock exactly to 12 o'clock.
To 12 is pretrial conference.
Pretrial conference.
So you're talking to the lawyers, you're talking
so
to
the lawyers and the defendants and the prosecutors are there. I have 2 prosecutors, and they're assigned to my court.
And how many rounds would you typically do in that 3 hours? Like how many different cases? How many?
Well, so every month I can have anywhere from 45, 50, 60, 70 people on the docket at any given morning.
Oh my gosh.
And then sometimes I'm running on Tuesday mornings, which is my regular.
So this is happening in the courtroom.
Yeah, every single morning.
Okay, so you're not in chambers.
No,
for
no,
example,
I'm sitting
doing
on
a
the bench.
conference. You're sitting on the bench.
I'm sitting on the bench.
But
right.
but the official trial proceeding is
No,
not.
no. It's just
underway.
a pre-trial conference, like meaning that the defense attorneys come in, they pull their case, they go and talk to the because I make it a mandate in my court that you have to confer with prosecution. You have to go before I give you a reset for your client to be released for the day. You have to go and show me that you've conferred, you've talked about this case.
See.
And then once they've talked about the case and they're agreeing on what can be done, is this going to go to trial, or we're going to take a plea bargain, or we're going to take a plea deal, whatever it may be. If they want a reset, then after they confer, I'll give them a reset. But they have to talk to. The sides have to talk, because to me, there's no downside to communication. And a lot of times the defense attorneys just don't want to talk, just want to come and get a reset. Well, have you discussed this with the prosecutors yet? Well, Judge, no. Okay, well, please just go and talk to them. And then one attorney comes back, thanks, Judge. My case is getting dismissed today. I started laughing. I was like, see what communicating does?
Well,
like,
you get to
just go and talk to them.
You get to be popular.
Yeah,
that's I can tell you like that feeling.
A lot of plea bargains come out of that. I may do 10 or 12, 15 pleas a day.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the specialty courts.
Yes.
So the mental health court.
Yes.
And this is more than just something that you happen to be in charge of. You have helped drive this.
Yes.
Tell us that story.
So the mental health court was created around 2007. I'm the third judge over that program. When I got on the bench, the program was there, but it was lacking so much. And this was back in 2018. I started doing a lot of improvement because as a defense attorney, I was part of the felony drug court. So I knew what these programs could do. I knew how they help people. I knew how they lessen recidivism in our community. So when I ran for a court that had a specialty, a treatment court, I knew that I wanted to take on that challenge and help so many people that enter the judiciary with the mental health illness. So of the 15 county courts, anyone, if you get arrested, you assigned to county court 2, you can tell your defense attorney or anyone yourself, I know of a mental health court. I think I have mental health issues. Can my case get transferred to Judge Huff's mental health court docket? And then we fill out their evaluation, the referral, that my case managers will do an evaluation. We send for the medical records. We have them seen by our own professional doctor to see the right diagnosis. A lot goes into the mental health. Now, I'm not a clinician, I'm a judge, but I have a team of about 20 people. And so these teams are called multidisciplinary teams, meaning that we have to have specific disciplines. We have to have a police officer, a probation, a defense attorney, a prosecutor, a therapist, a case manager, a SUD specialist, meaning someone that's working with people in their substance abuse. I have 2 mental health teams. So all of these, you get up to about 20 people. We decide if this person is eligible, if they meet criteria, because there are some disqualifiers. Once they are declared that they do meet the qualifications, then we tell the defense attorney, now, the individual, the defendant, has a choice to make, because I cannot order anyone into these programs. They're completely voluntary. And once we made the decision that they are qualified for the program, then they have to say on the record, I do want my case to be transferred to Judge Huff's court. I want to come into the mental health court. And then they have to sign a contract and know all the conditions of what we're expected of, following their medications, counseling, SUDS counseling. And sometimes at the very beginning, their lives are so chaotic. Immediately from jail, I send them straight into inpatient. They don't even get to me for like the next 3 months. And then they come, and then from inpatient, they go to sober living. It's just a reimagined way of handling individuals in the judiciary, a unique wraparound way that the program is so successful, 97% success rate. 3% chance that I will ever see you in the judiciary again. And we do measure that by, we keep good data. Is this person ever arrested the first year, the third year, the fifth year? And we know that, it's easy to keep.
So that 97% number goes out 5 years at least.
Mm-hmm. Goes out 5 years, us tracking them after they, now,
Right.
if they successfully complete this 12-month program, not only does the case get dismissed, it gets totally expunged from their record, giving them a true start. Like that theft case is gone, right? That assault case is gone. And, they can get a job, because who wants to hire someone with a theft case or an assault case? Sometimes apartments don't even want to rent to you because you fight people. You do assaults, right? I had a participant tell me that. I can't get an apartment because they keep saying they're assault. Now, if they get the case expunged, it's gone, and it's giving them a true start.
Yeah, this is where I'm going to share this quote that I pulled out of doing my own background research. make each defendant an asset to the community.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
And this is to me where the mission of what we at Speak USA are doing overlaps with what you do as a judge in the local community. And I want to talk about this contrast of, on the one hand, ideology taken to an extreme. And that is what I see happening in our country. Ideology being taken to an extreme without a lot of consideration of what the impact is going to be, versus the way you balance accountability, right? I mean, you're not sentencing people.
No, we're definitely sentencing people.
Yeah.
And you have to earn that dismissal and expungement.
Exactly. And so you're handling this in a way that benefits our community. It hits the top of the curve for our community over the long term. And I just love that.
And it's true. And it actually saves the community money, because these people are not cycling in and out of the judiciary over and over. That cost us money. When we showed the commissioners court, the leaders, the senators, the state representatives, how these programs help us, because the feel good stories. Yeah. But let's look how we save the community money. That gets their attention. That gets their attention like none other when we break it down in the data about how we save so it roughly costs about $5,000 for that year to get everyone through all the programs, because we pay for a lot, because the population of my mental health court is very poor, a lot of homelessness. We give them free bus passes. We help them with maybe 2 or 3 months of their sober living. It's another resource in the community that will make an application to get a scholarship. Counseling, who's paying for that, right? All the things. Sometimes if they don't understand their diabetes, I'll help them go to university, have a free classes on understanding diabetes, high blood pressure. I mean, I am touching on every single aspect of their life. And I did CPS and adoptions for 20 years. I can spot a foster kid a mile away. Something about this participant, asked them whether they're a foster kid. Yeah, Judge, I did. I knew it because they act in a certain way, because this is part of the foster care system, that when we take a child that's 5.
So that was part of your, just to clarify, that was part of your practice before you became a judge.
Yeah, before as a defense attorney, I did those cases. So and so a lot of these mothers that end up in the program I want to know everything about that person. Who's their support system? Are they divorced? Do they have children? Do they have custody of their children? How many children are the children? An adult? Who is helping this person? Do they have substance abuse? Or is it because sometimes we'll think that they're bipolar, but they're on meth. So it's the meth driving the bipolar driving the meth. We don't know. And we found that a lot with veterans they got a DWI, which is the DWI court, their PTSD, which could be the mental health court, right? And then the veterans treatment court, what 3 courts this individual could be eligible for, which court, but what is driving what? Is the PTSD driving the alcoholism? And sometimes we'll put them in a certain court, and then that judge will say to me, he's in a DWI court because he got a DWI. However, Judge, I think the PTSD is presenting more. Can we make a lateral move to your program? And we do that a lot, because sometimes you don't know till that person gets into the program. But of the 15 treatment courts, the judges work with each other a lot.
And I can't help note the contrast and the underlying philosophy difference again. You're rooted in evidence, right?
Rooted in evidence-based.
To make a move like that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it may be a judgment call on someone's part, but it's on a professional's part who's looking at the situation and saying, I think this element is primary, and how do we react to that?
Yes.
As opposed to just acting based on ideology, in a way that doesn't consider the individual circumstances.
So these programs have to follow guidelines from All Rise that's headquartered in D.C. Anyone could just say they are a treatment specialty court, but are they following the evidence-based rules?
So talk about All Rise.
So All Rise is an organization that all of these specialty courts across America are under the umbrella of All Rise. We have conferences, we have a lot of Zooms, we have to follow the evidence-based, data-driven philosophies of All Rise, because we know this is what works.
So All Rise is a nonprofit?
Yeah, it's a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit, heavily funded through the federal government. It really is. I know they get a lot of funding from and when we go to the conferences, a lot of the federal government, it's a lot of the veterans especially, because they'll do different tracks, like veterans track, a mental health court track, a DWI track, and we have a lot of entities from the government that come in and put on a lot of these presentations at these conferences, which is fine with me. I'm happy that they're funded by it, but that leaves us in danger, I should say. Maybe I'm not using the right term, but like if all these programs that work so well, they help so many people, and that leaves us vulnerable that all these funded programs could be taken away across America.
Well, you noted that like so many things that are of this nature, I think maybe is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
These programs are potentially under threat from,
they
losing
are,
their
absolutely, because it just seems to be like helping people in this atmosphere seems to be taken as weakness. Pull yourself up by your bootstrap, but nobody blinks an eye at giving millions to a billionaire. Why can't we just give money to a poor little mother with 3 kids that's trying to get her life on track? I just do not understand it. I'd rather give money to make that person's life better, to give out millions and millions and millions of dollars to billionaires. The people make America, not businesses and capital. We make America. All of us make America. And when we help one, we help all of our brothers and sisters. This is just my philosophy of life, that we get one on the right path. We've helped everyone. We've helped the community.
Indeed. And, so number one, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Number two, I think about the accountability that you are expected to hand out sometimes as you help people, but you're handing out accountability as well. And there has been a serious lack of accountability of our federal government and the leaders and the crimes that were committed and never held to account.
No, never. I mean, that could never come across in like, if you are convicted of something, you're going to go to jail. There's not going to be the accountability has to be there. There are choices that people make. And there are consequences. Like, for example, in Bexar County, we have a huge DWI problem. If I have 100 cases on my court at any given morning, 100 files, 100 cases on my docket, 75 of those cases will be DWIs and 25 will be everything else. But it doesn't seem to be the leadership, the defense attorneys, the defense bar, the accountability. Like this, I call it the misdemeanor that kills, because but for the grace of God, go I. If you drink and if you drive, at some point you've probably done both together in your lifetime. And it is the one crime that cuts across every demographic, every boundary: man, woman, homeless, presidents of banks, professors, judges, lawyers, doctors, students, red, green, black, polka dot, it doesn't matter. It's just the one crime that cuts across every demographic. But it's a huge problem, because at least once a week in Bexar County, we'll hear about a fatality from drinking and driving. Mothers getting drunk driving. It's just a huge problem. The defense attorneys say that I'm very tough on DWI, but how I look at it is that I am saving this young person because once you get 2 DWI convictions, the third one is a felony. And now you can go to prison for 10 years. And God forbid you kill someone, you're going to prison for 20 years. And your life, as you know it, is over with. And I had a young UTSA student in my courtroom there. His mother was with them. And I'm like, why are you trying to ruin your young life? He was like, I'm not judged. Like, do you care? Do you want to graduate? Well, why are you drinking? Why are you making? Because the choice is so easy. Don't drink. Uber. Get a Lyft. Because once you do that, you get caught. That's on your record. You made a horrible decision. And that decision puts other people on our streets. It puts their lives in danger because you've made it, and everybody thinks that they can get home. But the data has shown that once that person gets their first DWI, the data says that they've actually driven drunk at least 200 times. This is the first time they've gotten arrested, but they've done it many times, right? But all those times they're putting other people's lives. And I'll get mothers that say, but my mother died, my husband died. Ma'am, it is okay to grieve a death, but the way you're choosing to grieve is putting other people's lives in the community at danger. Yes. You're making choices. And the defense attorneys always want me to go easy. They don't want me to order ignition. I don't like, but if there are no consequences, what would stop them from doing it again? Because data does show that once they gotten 1 DWI, the likelihood that they'll get 2. I've had one individual had 4 DWIs in my court. 4. He got one in May. He got one in June. He got one in September. He got one in January. Pending 4 open DWI cases. Does this person have a problem? Sir, do you think you have a problem? No, ma'am, I do not.
So if 3 of those if he's convicted
Yes.
on 3 of those, it's a felony.
Because-
Is that, and did I understand that right?
Well, not at this time because they're all open together. Like,
Yeah.
so say for instance, the DA's office will probably say, he's going to get convicted on 2. We may go deferred on 1, and they may dismiss 1, however they want to work out the plea.
I see.
But he's now gotten 2 convictions, and if he gets 1 more, then that one would be a felony.
that's a felony.
That's a felony.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem. And I just believe in accountability. I believe it for myself. I believe it. I hold myself to a very high standard for my own children, that when you make choices, there are consequences to these choices. And you don't grow and learn as a person if I just give you this soft landing every time.
And, pardon me for continuing to bring it back every once in a while to our federal issues, but there was an insurrection in January 6th. Where are the consequences for that?
That actually broke my heart to see that.
There are so many other bullets we could put on this list where there have not been consequences.
And you want to say that you're the party of law and order, but over 100 police officers were hurt. Those police officers, 1 was killed, 5 died. And you just pardon all these people. It was unforgivable. Unforgivable. I didn't think I would ever see a day like this in America. Never in my life. But here we are. Here we are.
Yeah.
And I'm in the judiciary.
And back in the same place. Well, I'm thankful you're in the judiciary. Maybe you'd be federal judge.
Who knows? You get appointed to that. Like, we got a Biden or someone back in or
well, that's good. You make a good point. Now, we talked a lot about the mental health court, but it's not the only one, right? There are multiple specialty courts.
We have a DWI for alcoholism. We have a drug court. We have a misdemeanor drug court. We have a felony drug court. We have a misdemeanor veterans court. We have a felony veterans court. We even have a prostitution and human trafficking court. We even have one for CPS cases and some for juvenile. So these unique ways of treating these issues that makes these, if we follow the guidelines of All Rise, that is a success, because there's so much data on these programs that have been operating since the 80s that if you do it this way, this individual will be successful. These programs are for high risk, high need individuals, right? We don't put anyone in these programs that are going to do good on probation anyway, because there is a tipping point that someone that was going to do good anyway, these programs are so strenuous, they're so hard, they're so wraparound that we give someone that it would actually not be good. So it's only designed for high risk, high needs, like someone that is suffering from mental health and their own heroin and their own meth. That's high risk, high needs, because if we don't treat that individual, they will be back in the judiciary again. So that's what these courts are about. And so we know, the team knows how to spot it. We have metrics to follow, guidelines to follow, tests to follow, to who qualifies for these programs. And then once they get it, I get a lot of young ones, 17, 18, and they're all teenagers and do act like teenagers. And the thing is that we followed the guidelines said we must have a woman's docket, we must have a men's docket. We can't mingle them in. The women feel much safer without the men. They want to talk more. They're open. A lot of them have suffered sexual trauma. They do not want the men. And so when it comes to like peer support, our mentors, the woman that has suffered sexual trauma, we can't have her talking to a man like she wants a woman. And it really gets to the nitty gritty of things like that. Other people that have gone to the program, they come back and they pay it forward. Women and men, they're talking to them. They're explaining to them what these programs are, encouraging them. I love it. I love the unity of it. I love how the people that have gone through the program come back and help the ones that are now in the program. It is a wonderful thing in the judiciary. I invite people all the time, come down to the courthouse, shadow me in the mental health court, educate yourself. Your tax dollars are paying for these programs. Don't you want to see what your tax dollars are doing? There's probably not one family in all of Bexar County that is not, mental health has not touched them in some way, some kind of way.
This is a great segue into that you are and I quote, a judge in the community.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that a little bit more. This isn't like the one time you forayed out, off the bench. You're doing it all the time. I know you find that. Tell us what you're doing. Like some examples maybe of things you've done and why.
Different groups, and I encourage it. Different groups are inviting me like, Judge Huff, I heard you at another event. Would you come talk to our group? And the fact that when I got on the bench back in 2019, these programs are all there. They've been up and running for 25 years, but no one in the community seems to know that these resources exist. So I just started making this big push to start educating the community. Your tax dollars are paying for these programs. That's why I have this booklet. made. And on the first page, I really do explain why I did it. Why did I make this book, this booklet for the community?
These two booklets, are they
They're
online?
different. They're
Are they
different.
online?
Yeah, yes. Both of them.
Okay.
Like this, if you go to my official government page, it's a link to this booklet right here.
So, well, it's right here, actually.
That's the
okay.
link.
So I'm going to do this, what's becoming a tradition here on the Speak USA podcast. I'm going to hold that up.
That is a link to the specialty courts booklet, resource booklet.
Okay. I'm holding a minute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
And you can see all the judges and all the judges that preside over all these programs. You can just read about them. You educate yourself about what your tax dollars are paying for.
Here's what the cover. Hey. I took. Okay, you need to talk so that the camera will.
Okay, so I took many cities in Texas reach out to me when they found out that Bexar County did this. Look, Houston probably has 8. We have 15 treatment courts. Houston may have 18. Dallas may have 20. And I would say to them, why don't you put all of your programs in a place that make it easier for the community to find these programs, to find the resources in the judiciary, put them, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'll send you the template of what we did. El Paso's reached out, Waco's reached out, many other cities have reached out to say, we want to do that. We want to put all our resources together in a booklet for the community. And this is purely a booklet I made to educate the community about resources in the judiciary. But because besides the 15 specialty courts, there are some other good programs. They're not specialty court, but there are other good resources that I want the community to know about in the courthouse.
Indeed. So for our viewers and listeners, I'm going to put in the comments on our YouTube channel the links to both of these booklets so that everyone knows. And so when you're out in the community, who are you going to talk? What's some examples of people that you're going to talk to about what's going on?
I've gone to talk to nurse practitioners. I've gone to talk to therapist groups. I know it's a big group of therapists that meet monthly. I've gone to talk to them several times. I got invited to a medical conference to talk about these programs one time. Junior League got me coming in March. Just different groups all over the community that want to learn more about. The judiciary is so mysterious. It's so complicated to so many people. As a mother of 3, I think that if people knew their resources, if you're in a situation and you don't know how to get out of the situation, the thing that you need is resources. And who has the responsibility to tell the community about the resources in the judiciary? I think it's the judges. I think that judges should get more out of the courthouse and go into the community more. It's just a big philosophy of mine. I'm going to elementary schools. I'm going to high schools. I'm going to colleges. And I'm always at any given week, actually on Thursday, I will be speaking for San Antonio Bar Association. I'm going to be speaking with one of the 4 Court of Appeal judges, and I'm going to explain to all the civil judges about the mental health court. They don't understand about it. At any given week, you will find me at least 2 or 3 times in the community, talking to people, educating people. And this is in addition to what I am doing every single day on the bench. It's like in the afternoon, my kids aren't little anymore, so I have the time to do things like that. I call it my second life, right? Which I love doing. I love doing this because I am just a public servant.
Why am I not surprised by that?
It's that hard for me. I just really enjoy. I mean, if you had a lawyer that worked 20 years at adoptions and CPS, are you surprised I love helping people in the community, right? As a judge, I now got my soapbox. Now I got a megaphone to help even more people because I'm a judge. And this is what I desire to do. I want to empower people to help themselves, that they will be an asset to the community. They won't be a liability to the community. They are helping the community. They're giving back to the community. And we can only do that one person at a time through something that's wraparound of teaching that young 18-year-old about bipolar, that is not something to be ashamed of. There's no stigma in it. You can live a regular life once you learn how to deal with your bipolar through, counseling and medications. I say, look, someone that's diabetic, they may have to take medication. There's no stigma there. Someone that's high blood pressure, they have to take why is it so stigmatizing for? It's just another body part. And I say this to them, it's just another body part. It's your head. That's all it is. And one told me, I've never had anyone explain it to me like that. It's just another body part.
I've never heard it that way either.
Instead of your arm being broke, I said, I would tease the 18-year-old. Now imagine you broke your arm and you walking around. Would you go to the doctor? Yes, ma'am. Why would you go to the doctor? It would be hurt. Well, when you have bipolar and you're hurting, why don't you go to the doctor for that? What you going to be? I'm such a He-Man. My arm is broken. I don't want to see a doctor because people will make fun of it. It's ridiculous. Of course you're going to go to the doctor. So go to the doctor for another body part, which is your head.
Yeah, I think I'm an old software guy, and I think sometimes it gets looked at as like, it's software, not hardware. But my goodness, I know a lot of buggy software out in the world, and let's fix this too.
But I think it resonates with the younger ones when I'll say it's just another body part, and they had never had it explained to them. It's just another body part. That's all it is that you need help for, like diabetes or high blood pressure or anything else. It's just another body part.
You ever go to schools? You talk to students?
Oh, yeah.
At all?
I mean, it was elementary school the other day.
Hey, can I tell you? I asked that like a lawyer because I already knew the answer to the question. Why WLA? Young Women's Leadership Academy, which for our list, that is an SAISD charter school. It's
wonderful.
School.
That school's like rated one of the best schools. And I actually had one of the young ladies that was my intern for this past summer, and she reached back and said, would I like to come for Black History Month? They were having a panel of judges and candidates, and I had just the best time with them. I love doing things like that. I'll tell my court coordinator, hey, at 2:30, don't give me a docket in the afternoon. I'm going to go talk to the Leadership Academy for about an hour, and I'll come back. And it was another little school, LBJ Elementary. They had the little elementary had a mental health day. Oh my God, that was the cutest. And then I asked some of them questions.
Are they in SAISD?
No, they're in Edgewood. Very poor school.
Because I know for a fact that SAISD has had a major focus on mental health.
Yes, they
over
did.
the last year or two or longer.
They're revamping a lot, and they actually Fox Tech turned themselves into a law magnet. And I actually had the whole group of them come to the court as a tour and meet a lot of judges, because those kids that want to choose to go to that magnet school for law. They want to be something to do with in the judiciary, a judge, a lawyer, a probation officer in the judiciary. So they go to that magnet school, a law magnet school. But yeah, I was really impressed that an elementary school would have a whole mental health.
So what
day.
do you talk to them about? I
put it in a way that because I'll say like, I asked her what was mental health, and it was a little girl. She looked to be about in the 3rd or 4th grade, and she says, "I said, do you know what mental health is?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's mental health is when there's something wrong with your head, but you want help for." Like, I was so blown away. She answered it like some adult. There's something going on in your head, and you need help with it. I'm like, yeah, that is exactly what it is.
I think that's a testament to how much focus has been brought.
Yes,
to this topic.
That even an elementary school child could answer the question, when I asked her, what did she think mental health was? And that we are so much more cognizant and recognize it, that even children know mental health, you need to take care of your mental health well-being. That kids at that level in elementary school should know it, which I think is wonderful across America. When in the olden days, no, you were just thought of as crazy.
Yeah, I realized I do something for my mental health. I had never thought of it in these terms. I write a lot of grants. And I know people who write grants, and when they write the grant every day, like when they know that it's like the answer's due like every day or like 4 times a day, they're like hitting the button to see whether they, it came out well or not. I have a mental health strategy, which is to send and forget. I just like, I do enough of them that I don't have to worry about any, like one in particular. Well, I do, but I don't have to. So I didn't realize it really until this whole mental health sort of focus came in. But it's like, I don't want to live in that.
Yeah, because that can be so high stress and high anxiety.
It's not good for me. So I just send it out. And one thing I've learned is the news that needs to find me finds me. It's good, it's bad.
Sometimes you have to make those boundaries, man. You have to say like, I don't want to. You make the decision and then you don't go and visit it, because that's going to give you high anxiety. I don't want to, because once you get in that echo chamber, that's the crazy part.
I'm on to the next thing.
Yes.
That's the trick, right?
On to the next thing.
Like this may turn out well, may not, but there's going to be something else after this.
Life is going to keep moving, right? I mean, like when I do a jury trial, get the verdict, I got to keep it going. Those defense attorneys, that one that lost is falling apart. You got to keep it moving. You lost it. You got a guilty and not, your client got found guilty, and defense attorney was so upset. Like, It happens. You didn't create the facts of the case. You did the best you could. Keep it moving. You got other clients. He was devastated when he got it guilty because he was really expecting not guilty. He made a crucial mistake in the case. And I've been doing this for 29 years now. And I told him what the crucial mistake was, which is he let his client testify. And truly, to me, he was being arrogant because his client did not have to testify. The jury hated the person that was accusing his client of something, assault. And the case was won. And I wasn't thinking that when he came, we took a break, and his decision was, should I let my client testify or not? Or if I should just close and let the jury start delivering. She's going to testify. And I was like, I've been doing this for almost 30 years.
But you can't tell them what to do.
I cannot say a word. I cannot even make any facial expressions. Neutrality at all times. And I was really surprised that he allowed his client to testify. And afterwards, when his client was found guilty, because he was expecting it, we get the prosecutors, the young defense attorneys get to question the jury. Why did you do this? How did I do? Educating them. And the jury said to him, we would have found your client not guilty, but you let her testify, and she admitted to hitting the girl. So then he knew that he made the wrong call.
So even, even if they didn't like the other person, you don't get to hit someone.
Yes,
Sorry.
Exactly. They were like, we have to follow the law. So then he was so devastated. And I said, you know what? These things happen in my 29 years that you make a bad call. But I would say we as defense attorneys don't make the fact scenario. We just work with what we had. It's like we're in a minefield. You got to navigate around it. So you did the best you could. Your client wants to testify. There's nothing you could do. I was trying to make him feel better because it's going to happen. Everybody's going to get guilty when they thought they should have got a not guilty. But that happens. But keep it moving, man. You got to keep it. Don't dwell on it so much. Just keep it going. It's easier to say than not when you lose.
My version of that, which I almost shy away from making the analogy because one is really like life issue and the other one's just whether we get funding or not. But man, I've had those like, what do you mean you're not funding us? This was an awesome proposal.
That's the black, you're going down to the black hole. Don't do it. Don't do it, man.
Yeah, and it's like all you can do, the only smart move is to hit reply and say, thank you so much for considering us. I hope,
I mean,
you move on.
I don't know where we are with time, but a quick story is that
the answer is we have time.
Right before I decided to run for judge in 2017. This is around 2016. I had a client. He was a Marine. He had 7 DWIs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. By the grace of God, he had not killed anyone. But he had alienated everybody in his family. He was an alcoholic. You know how nobody wants to be around you. In fact, the only person that ever came to my office, no one even bailed him out. They came to court with him as his son that showed up for him. And I never saw him out of his jumpsuit. No one ever bailed him out. And it was a felony, of course. The district attorneys, I want to give him 10 years in prison. But he was a veteran, and he had a substance abuse problem, alcohol. And thank God that the judge was a veteran also. And we didn't even have the Veterans Treatment Court yet. That didn't come to 2017. This is 2016. So the only thing, because I had been a defense attorney on the felony drug court, is to get him into drug court. And I asked him, did you want to go into this program? I think it's something that you could help you. Now, in my heart, I did not think he could do that program because I know how hard these programs are. And the felony drug court program is 2 years. You have to be right. But I saw no other solution because they wanted to send him to prison. So I had him evaluated. He was deemed eligible. Now he's in the program. Now we have to go back to court. I have to convince the judge not to send him to prison for 10 years because the DAs were pushing hard. And he was like, get my sister. She can come testify. I'm like, your sister is actually testifying for the state against you, sir. Like nobody's on your side but me and your son. And so we went to court. We had this epic battle. The judge granted him 10 years probation. And the first 2 years going to be in this drug court program. So I'm like, oh God, I hope it works out because I didn't let him see that I had doubts, but I just thought that he could do it. So fast forward, he's in the program. And in 2017, I started running for judge. 2018, I won. 2019, I'm sworn in. I was in a program. I was at a conference. Someone comes and taps me on the shoulder. And they were like, hey, do you remember me? I looked at him like, yeah, I really did because I'd never seen him out of his orange jumpsuit. Yeah. And he says, it's me. You helped me. He says, guess what? I am now the president of the Alumni Association. I've been clean and sober for 3 years. My son and I have the Ministry of the Three Cross conferences, like what do you call them? Those getaways for men. That they go, the Ministry of Three Cross holds these little weekend getaways for just men group. I mean, he was doing awesome. all because he went into that program. Now his 2 years in the program's over, but he's still part of the alumni association. That is the power of that someone I really thought was not going to do good in this program, but he got into that program and he turned it around. And to this day, he still works. He actually helps me now, helping me set up a lot of association for the mental health court.
I love that.
That's the power. How if we can give these individuals, what good was it going to send a soldier to prison for 10
That's
years?
the virtuous cycle,
Yeah, mm-hmm.
right? Where you help someone and then they come back and help you to help more people, right? As opposed to the other cycle.
Yeah. Sending him to prison for 10 years only would have just made him worse and he would come out a better criminal. That's all it would have accomplished. It wasn't going to help him with his alcoholism at all.
Yeah.
And he came out, I mean, sending him to that program, he's now a part of that team. When we were at All Rise in Florida this past year, he was there he's still with the felony drug court program. That's Judge Ernie Glenn. He's on that team, like he's a part of the alumni association, just doing across the board wonderful, right? And that would have never happened if we had sent him to prison for 10 years.
Yeah.
But we made him earn, through accountability and continuity, he earned that spot of getting his life clean and sober for now 8 years. Because back then, when in 2018, he told me he'd been clean and sober for 3 years. So now fast forward, 5 more years, 8 more years. That's how long and clean and sober he's been.
I wonder if his Marine training.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Helped him find his way through it.
So all of these programs have graduation ceremonies, and if you have never attended any of these programs, it is just the most rewarding thing you're going to see in the judiciary. I tell everyone, please go and attend a Veterans Treatment Court graduation and bring your box of tissues, because you will be crying to see these soldiers, these veterans that have fallen down on life, and now they're back on their feet. And it's just this brotherhood that they have that is so different from other treatment courts, right? This brotherhood that I see. Like, I'm not over Veterans Court, but they have it, man. It's wonderful to watch. It is the most rewarding thing you'll see in the judiciary. Instead of sending people to prison, we're helping people in the community get back on there. We're giving them a second chance through therapeutic justice. That's what it is. It's therapeutic justice.
I've never heard that term quite like that. That's very cool. So we got, you asked if we had time. We got 2 more things we're going to do. Okay. One, I really want us to at least touch on this. ICE's presence in San Antonio is in the news right now. The facility that's been bought on the east side, I happen to be aware that it's directly across the street from a charter school that is being closed. Okay. And that's heartbreaking to me, because you're going to have both this activity that seems to be ideologically based, to use the theme of our conversation. And at the same time, maybe close to a place where trying to help students who need it the most, right? And it's just particularly heartbreaking to me. Are you being impacted at all in your court?
Well, because we're not on the state, like, 'cause I'm a county court judge. I'm an at-law county court judge. Now, this is one thing that I do have concerns about, that all judges have to ask, and every judge, federal, it doesn't matter, you have to ask an individual that is in your court that has taken a plea before on the record, are they a U.S. citizen? And if they say yes or no, in 8 years, there's never been a problem. No one has come and taken them away.
This is not new, right?
This is not new at all.
This is for decades and decades.
You have to ask someone. It's a Supreme Court. Padilla came out that someone, a judge didn't ask someone this. The person got deported, and they said that the individual, the issue of the case was that, well, no one explained to him by taking that plea bargain on the record that he could be deported from America. So from now on, since that, I can't even remember the year it came out, we all now have to, precedent was set, we have to advise, are you a U.S. citizen? You're entered into a transaction in the American judiciary that could have some consequences on your stay here. All right, do you understand what those consequences are? When they explain that they've spoken to their attorney and the immigration attorney, okay, now we can move forward because they understand the consequence of what could happen. And that individual in that Padilla case, they said they did not, no one had explained to them what could happen if they took a plea. And so now we got to, as judge, I have to be assured that they know what's going to happen to, what are the consequences, because they are stepping in. And like I said, the judiciary is complicated. Does anyone explain to you that by taking this plea, you're admitting something that's going to have some consequences? on your maybe your immigration case, right? And you said on the record, I'm not a U.S. citizen. In 8 years of been on the bench, I have not experienced ICE or anything, but I must say that I do have concerns. I have concerns. I don't want anything to happen. I want people to do what if they're in the immigration process, I want that to continue in a legal way, right? So, but I'll leave it at that. Nothing has happened, but I do have concerns.
Well, we did talk a little bit about what happened in Minneapolis and whether that agency is following the law or not.
Because I can see the Constitution is the one thing that guides us all. We all have to fall under the Constitution. We all have that guides us as a society. And when one person is not doing that, that endangers us all. Like students that come to my court ask me, why do you have to wear a black robe? Why do we have to say your honor to me?
That's funny because I was wondering that before we started.
It actually came out of the back in France, and I tried to research this myself once to get that. All of the parties are the court. Like purple was for purple was for royalty. I think red was the priesthood. Black was the law, the judiciary. So these colors that just came down, like when you were in the royal court of what each segment of groups had, the different colors that they wore. So black was for the judiciary, and that has come down. Now by law we cannot be on the bench without our black robe on. And I explained to a young lady that asked me that you're really not saying your honor to me. I am just a placekeeper in this spot for this court right now. You're saying your honor because you're really respecting the law. Why do we stand up when the jury comes in? Because those people, the jury, are deciding the facts. I am the referee, if you will. I'm deciding the law. So the law is so awesome, and it's the one thing that guides us all, that we have to give the reverence and the respect that it is due. So when the judge walks in, you have to stand up.
A nation of laws.
A nation of laws, absolutely.
Not men, or
we're a nation of laws.
Yeah,
we are a nation of laws, and we all have to give the respect and what that means and how it encompasses us all. No one is above the law. No one is below the law. Liberty, justice is blind. If we do not obey the law, everything goes off the rail. And I fear what could happen to our nation.
And I say this quote from Heather Cox Richardson almost every podcast. She one of her blog posts, she said, don't accept what's happening in the country right now. Insist that your government work the way it's supposed to work. Demand that it work the way it's supposed to work.
I mean, yeah. I don't think that what happened in Minneapolis after the first death, when all the people came out, I don't think anyone expected that. I mean, we are the people. America is the people. We're doing all this for the people. We are the important ones. So if the people are pushing back, this is not right, then that caught everyone's attention, didn't it? That caught it. Because I don't think that they thought that it was going to be such a big pushback by just peaceful protest, that many people are going to come out. This is not right. And if we say nothing, then it continues. And I think that if the judges aren't holding, we're holding the line right now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I think we all need to keep our eye on the long game as well. Sometimes speaking up, getting engaged, going to activities, showing up to protests or whatever feels like maybe are we really making a difference here?
But are.
Over time. I just had a thought of that thing that Greg Popovich, Coach Pop, the pounding the rock. You hit the rock 99 times and nothing happens. You hit it that 100th time and it cracks.
Yeah.
And how appropriate that is to the response of people who are trying to do something and maybe wonder if they're making a difference or not.
People have to educate themselves. They have. There's no secret sauce to it. It's just doing the hard work to educate yourself about the judiciary and how the laws work, how Congress work. I make sure my kids understand the three branches of government. The school didn't. They learned this at home because you have to know it impacts your life in such a. The young people that when I'm campaigning, they'll say, "Oh, I'm really not into politics, miss." I'm like, well, you may not be into politics, but politics is definitely into you.
Well, I didn't. I didn't care about politics at all until I started reading the newspaper after I got my first job, and
Taxes, everything.
and I just dated myself because I'm reading the newspaper like I'm sitting in a Jim's restaurant, right? Literally, I pulled the newspaper out of the stand, which you don't
You're like, what?
see anymore. So anyway, here's the last thing we need to do. We got to talk about these pictures that you sent.
Yes.
Okay,
Let's talk about the
so I'm telling everybody out there, I'm taking a moment to switch and get us onto the right channel.
Yes.
All right. So they're just listening to us right now. They
yeah,
don't hear us.
Yeah. So
let's just give me 10 or 15 seconds on each picture here. What are we looking at?
All of the treatment courts have 2 graduation ceremonies a year. We have a winter one and a spring one. So this is two people they gave testimonials and they were on stage. And this is just a pic of at the winter graduation. Mm-hmm. And these are the graduates walking in. I do it up big. Some people have never graduated from anything, high school, and they love the cap and gowns. I actually saved up money by marrying people. I bought all these wedding gowns, like I'm donating money. And so I got to think outside the box. So the green is the color for mental health. So they're actually walking into, the graduation song and they're on stage. And we do it up so big, we really do. I'm giving them all the accolades that they deserve for passing and graduating from such an intense program. And at every program, every graduation ceremony, I always invite 3 mental health advocates in the community because I'm really making a big push to loop the mental health world into the mental health court, what's going on in the courthouse. And this is why these are the 3 that we're speaking. And so this is me and 2 other Black judges that in 2018, 3 Black women judges got elected, and that had never happened in the history of Bexar County. That was truly history making. That in 2019, on January 1 of 2019, all 3 of us got sworn in.
Who are the others?
That's Judge Grace Uzuma of County Court 2 and Judge Stephanie Board of the 187 District Court, and myself, of course, of County Court 12. And that's just me with the graduates that year. I used to get between 20 and 25 people graduating per graduation ceremony.
And what would that tell me? What are they graduating from?
The mental health court.
So what does that mean? They graduated from the mental health?
So that means that they have like.
Oh, these are the
participants
people
in the program.
Oh my God, like the Marine.
Yeah, like they're yes, exactly. He would graduate from they would all go through that felony drug court. Their color is black, so my color is green. So everyone that completes that 12-month program, they get a certificate. The case gets dismissed and expunged from their record because they've successfully graduated this program.
Yeah, I'd want my picture taken with them
their
too.
families are there, and we do the whole throw up the cow, let them keep the little tassel and everything. Yeah. We took in high school we took a group pic because several of them have told me that they've never graduated. Now this is back in 2019. My 3 kids and my little granddaughter. So my older son, my daughter, and my youngest son, and my little granddaughter.
So this is Judge Huff's family.
Yeah, this is my 3 kids and my granddaughter. And that was the day I got sworn in. And this is what I was talking about, that fun thing I did last year with having a judicial meet and greet, come and meet the Black judges of Bexar County. It was at the Whitney Museum. It was 300 people came out. It was just a great success. People keep asking me to do it again. Maybe in a couple of years I'll do it again, but it was a lot of work to put on, but it was really
Events take a lot of work.
It was a lot of work to put on.
Yeah.
To get that many judges, so that's a picture of all the judges that came for that ceremony that day. We even have the first Black judge that sat on the Texas Supreme Court, Wallace Jefferson. We have Jason Pulliam, who now sits on a federal bench. We have all kinds, like some federal judges, some bankruptcy judges, insurance judges, magistrate judges, district court judges, CPS judges, and that is a group of them. We really had a great time that day. And now this is what I do. Every other year I update the resource booklet highlighting all the special courts. And then afterwards, along with updating this booklet, I will have a 5-part series seminar on Zoom. Anybody can jump on, and at each seminar, 3 special court judges are presenting about their special court, what it takes to get into it. And it's just an hour, it's on Zoom, and it's open and free to the public. Anyone, I just say, come and educate yourself about the special court. That's just me trying to educate the community more. And that's my team from my mental health court team right there. Because I have 2 teams. I have the County Court 12, which is my coordinator for County Court 12, and I have a coordinator for the mental health court.
How many people does it take to run County Court 12?
Well, all of the courts have a coordinator, a court reporter, a bailiff, a probation officer, 2 public defenders, 2 prosecutors, 2 clerks. So about 10 people.
10 people.
About 10
Yeah,
people.
to run one of the court. And then you're number 15.
I'm number 12.
Oh, 12 out
Yeah.
of 15.
Yeah.
12,
So,
sorry.
But
yeah.
all of the courts have the same
Yeah.
thing. They have to have a court reporter and a coordinator, and the defense attorneys and the prosecutors and the bailiff and the probation officers, clerks.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's another
Yeah,
graduation.
they
Yeah,
were throwing up their
sorry,
cap.
everyone. I don't really have these pictures in the order maybe they should have been. Oh,
That
but
was
here
so-
they
were-
is. Yeah.
Because we always shout, "You did it," and everyone gets to throw up their hats, and that's
Yeah.
one of the
Well,
moments that they all love.
Well, bless them for going this direction.
They made it.
Yeah,
I said, I'm going to give you all the
indeed.
accolades to their
Okay, wait. Whose dogs are these?
These are therapy dogs.
Okay.
So sometimes when
I should have known that.
But I'm having
Yeah.
an intense jury trial. I had a jury trial that was dealing with it. It was indecent exposure. Anyway, after you've heard all that, I got to bring in a therapy
So,
dog. They get secondhand trauma. The jurors do.
I'm just remembering we have some Apple podcast listeners, and so just for everyone, there are the folks lined up in their green robes graduating, but then two large white poodles,
Yes.
basically large
Therapy dogs. They're so well behaved.
Yeah.
They will.
Indeed.
And this was just a group of students visiting me. I think they were UTSA students. And they come and they shadow the program. They want to learn. They're criminal justice students. And they want to learn more about the treatment course and what they will be encountered if they go into probation. And so the professor, every year he brings his class to sit and just shadow with us having a mental health court docket.
Yeah, see what's going on. And this one, I told you I got a comment, and the comment is, you've been here all hour. You've earned this one. You are the sitting judge, and you are a candidate.
I am
as
a
well.
candidate. I am up for my third term as a presiding judge at County Court 12 in the mental health court. I would appreciate anybody listening, their support and voting for me. I love what I'm doing. I want to continue doing what I'm doing. I want to continue improving the mental health court.
Yeah,
So
indeed. This is where I say Speak USA does not endorse particular candidates, but I'm sure glad you're here, though. All right, and I think we're getting close to the end here. Here's one more picture.
And that was I think we were maybe at the Northeast Democrats thing, and it's just a group of people in the community I was posing with a lot of, and that's represented the state. Josie Garcia, she's a state rep.
The underside, actually, I met her fairly recently.
She's a veteran.
Actually.
She's the only female veteran in the whole state of Texas.
Yeah,
in the legislature.
Indeed. Well, we are coming to the close here, Judge Huff. Do you have any? Oh, well, actually, I have a parting question. Actually, let me ask you. So, do you have any parting words of wisdom?
Yeah. My thing that I tell people all the time is that educate yourself. Vote. If you don't know who to vote, everyone out there has a cell phone. Google people. The printed sheets of everyone that's going to be in ballot. Literally, take some days. Just go down the ballot sheet. Google that person's name. See what they're about. See if this is someone. What are they doing? What are they doing to better the community? And when I'm out campaigning and I'm talking to different churches, I'll say, your vote is currency. And when someone asks you for that currency, what are you getting in return for that currency? How is this person that's asking for your vote better in the community? Be it judges or state legislature or anyone, how is that individual better in the community? Don't just give your currency away. Insist. Well, tell me, how are you going to better? How are you going to make the community better for my children and myself?
And tied to Speak USA's mission, for those people who are watching what's going on right now in our country, in our state, federal government, state government especially, and wish they knew what to do, don't know where to start. What's your advice for them? Where can someone start to act and react to what's happening in our country?
Well, vote. You do not know the power of voting. I think the lack of voting is why we're here. Why we're here, because enough people don't think that voting makes a difference, and it absolutely does. I've had a candidate said to me, I lost by 7 votes. And it was like that judge is on the bench now, but back 10 years ago, he lost by 7 votes. I've heard people that lost. My district, County Court, District 6 for the councilman for San Antonio, lost by 51 votes.
Yeah.
You know which race I'm talking about?
It
matters. Your vote matters. Your vote, if it didn't matter, why are they trying so hard to take it away from you? Why are they making all these rules to make it harder to vote? If your vote didn't matter, your vote absolutely mattered. You change things by voting and educating yourself. And anybody can do that just on their cell phone. Google, why is voting important? Google, how many judges are up for re-election. Just play around like you would Google anything else. And I know young people like to do that on Instagram and stuff. Google that. Google and start educating. And the more you get into it, the more you'll see that you like that. That's how my kids. You said I didn't learn about politics, so got my first job. You have to start from somewhere, right? Voting and educating yourself.
Number one, that is a spectacular. Why, if it's not important, why are they trying to take it away? I think that is a spectacular, but close to close for us. And so get out there and vote. And the other thing that I heard you say is come visit my court.
Yes, please.
Come hang out.
You are welcome. And I mean this. The courts are open by law to anyone. No one has the right to. You absolutely have the right to come and sit in any court and watch the proceedings about what these judges are doing. And that is a law, courts by law. In fact, during COVID, we had to pivot to YouTube channels. However, we still have to have the courts open. That's why we got the YouTube. If we were in court having hearings, the public had to see what we were doing. That's how much courts have to be open to the public.
All right.
So you're welcome to come.
So everyone, get out there and vote. Go visit Judge Huff's court. And I want to ask you all, what did you learn about our democracy today? Remember, you can learn more by visiting our website at speakusa.org. You can learn how to learn, connect, give, and to speak up. I want you to remember to go out there and speak for the USA. And Judge Huff, I'm going to give you one last action. Grab this little gavel that says Judge Huff and take us out, please.
Court is now adjourned.
Thank you. See you all soon.
Hearing is finished. We adjourn now. Court stands in recess. Yeah, I hope they get that.